Wendake Quebec is a destination where cultures collide. It's a beautiful place where the ancient meets the modern. And somehow, time seems to stand still and leap backwards, all at the same time. Those of you who followed our Indigenous tour of Quebec last summer know full well that we fell absolutely in love with the town of Wendake, Quebec. This First Nations community is a suburb of Quebec City, and it's one of the most accessible Indigenous communities in Canada. This small town has been home to the Wendat First Nations since the mid-1600s. And at first glance, it might seem like a sleepy town. But Wendake offers one of the top places to experience Indigenous culture right here in Canada. At the core of Wendake, Quebec, sits the beautiful Hotel-Musee Premieres Nations. This combination luxury hotel and Indigenous history museum has unbelievable Indigenous fusion cuisine and loads of cultural experiences that left my whole family inspired. There's no photography allowed in the First Nations Museum itself, but each guided tour begins with a recounting of the creation story among beautiful stained glass artwork that represents the origin of the Huron people. After a tour of the museum, there was plenty to do both around the hotel and throughout the town. One of the coolest of all was our visit to the traditional Huron Longhouse. Here we were transported back to times unmeasured through traditional storytelling around a fire. The Longhouse experience is amazing. You can even register to stay in this unique room as an overnight guest. But storytelling works up an appetite. Luckily, we were able to cook up some traditional bannock berries over a campfire. Before heading back into the Longhouse for more stories and music. After our experience in the Longhouse, we joined one of the local canoe operators for a tour along the Akiawenrahk River through the town of Wendake. The river, more commonly known as the St. Charles River, is sacred to the local people, and many restrictions have been placed on its use to help protect the river and the land surrounding it. After bringing our canoe to shore, our guide brought us through the local trails on a forest walk. We learned the importance of nature and traditional foraging, as well as the modern history of the Wendat people. Before making our way to one of the most popular tourist attractions in town, the Wendake Traditional Huron site. This recreation village explores the history and culture and lifestyle of Huron people before the arrival of Europeans. It's a fun and exciting way to immerse yourself in traditional lifestyle. Through our tour of the village, we learned about everything from the fur trade to how they built their canoes. But that's not all Wendake has to offer. On the edge of town is a small fountain decorated with animals that are sacred to the First Nations people. And you won't want to miss the nearby trails that lead down to Akiawenrahk waterfall. And because we were able to time our visit just right, we were able to take place in the incredible Wendake Powwow. This huge Indigenous celebration is the largest powwow in Eastern Canada. These events combine food, dancing, music, art, and games in a multi-day event that is fun for the whole family. If you've never been to a powwow before, I highly recommend checking one out. They're an absolute blast and offer a great introduction to Indigenous culture here in North America. Our experience at the Wendake Powwow was made even more special when our boys were invited to take part in the drum circle. It was an honor that none of us will forget. I want to give a big thank you to Quebec Aboriginal Tourism, the Indigenous Tourism Association of Canada, and Quebec Tourism for helping us to make memories here in Wendake. We can't wait to get back again.